and welcome back for day 3 of e-learning. This video is going to be talking about some of our science. Before we talk about what you're going to do today, I want to talk about the questions that you guys answered yesterday. I saw lots and lots of good thinking, lots of people using some of those vocabulary words that we're going to touch on today and that you're going to see in the video. I saw lots of good answers written in complete sentences, so thank you for that pre-thinking of our video. Our first question was, how would you describe the person swinging, the motion of a person swinging? So when someone swings, they move forward and backward, but they're also moving up and back down. So this is kind of a repeated pattern because it's kind of the same thing, back and forward, up and down, okay? Over time, if someone's not kicking their legs or if someone's not pushing you, your swings become shorter and you're coming closer and closer where the swing eventually stops. So really just focusing on that repeated pattern. You're going to hear that a lot today. Sorry, my thing just about fell. Our second question is, if a book is pushed across the floor but doesn't bump into anything, what makes it stop moving? So this is where a lot of people said friction. Friction does make things stop moving. So if you just push a thing across the floor and don't do anything else, it's eventually going to slow down and come to a stop. Some of you did say gravity. Gravity doesn't really affect that as much. This is more of the friction between the book and then the ground because they are rubbing against each other as you're pushing. This was another one. A lot of good responses on this one. If someone goes bungee jumping from a bridge, they first fall down and then what happens? So I really liked what Isabel said. So when you fall down, things are going to come back up, especially if you're on like a string or if it's a ball. When you throw a ball down, it bounces back up until it gets shorter and shorter. So just like the bungee jumping, it's that repeated pattern again, kind of like the swings. Okay, so once they fall down, they're going to shoot back up, and then eventually they're going to keep getting shorter and shorter until they come to a stop. So that was a good answer by Isabel. I really liked that she said what comes up must come back up, what comes down must come back up. And then the last question that I had you guys discuss was, if two identical boxes were pushed with the same amount of force, one on the sidewalk and one on an ice skating rink, which would move further and why? Okay, so this one was pretty easy. If you're moving something on a sidewalk, you know that friction between that and the box is going to be kind of hard because the cement is a kind of a rough surface, kind of like sandpaper, so if you're pushing that, it's going to take a little bit more effort. Whereas the ice rink, which is the easiest, is slippery, so there's not as much friction between the two, so it's going to be easier to push. Today, for science, you are going to be, after you're watching this video, you are going to get on and Mommy. Alright friends, sorry about that. So after you have watched my video, you are going to go into Class Kick. I also have it linked on the den if you just want to click on it from there. You have the Generation Genius Science video link. So you're going to click on that and you're going to watch your video. While you're watching the video, you are actually going to be answering some other questions, kind of similar but focusing more on using the correct verbiage. Kind of some things that we just talked about, like the friction and the repeated patterns. So some things that you will get from the video today, you will learn that a pattern of motion is the repeated process of an object moving. Patterns of motion can be used to make predictions, so meaning based on what it is doing, kind of like that swing, you know what's going to come next. If it goes up, you know it's going to come back, or backward and forward. And then when one surface rubs against another, we get friction, and then we also will learn that friction slows things down. So if you have any questions, just let me know, and I hope you enjoy the science video today. Thanks, guys.